On Thursday, March 26th, the European Parliament did the unthinkable. They voted 389 to 206 to approve what's being called the Returns Regulation, a sweeping new legal framework designed to massively accelerate the deportation of illegal migrants from the European Union. This was not a narrow squeaker. This was not some procedural side vote. This was a full plenary vote in the Parliament of the European Union, and the so-called far right won decisively. The vote clears the way for formal trilogue negotiations with the European Council on a new binding legal standard for migrant removals across all 27 EU member states. And the political coalition that made it happen was something Brussels bureaucrats swore never, ever to allow: a unified right-wing bloc stretching from what's known as the EPP, the European People's Party, that's the mainstream center-right, all the way through the European Conservatives and Reformists, the Europe Sovereign Nations Group, and the Patriots for Europe movement. So all the different nationalist populist parties from all 27 nations, they coalition into more or less three groups, and they voted in a uniform bloc along with the center-right EPP, the European People's Party, and they absolutely crushed it. They passed the single most hardcore Trump-like mass deportation policy in over a century. Now, to understand just how seismic this was, you need to understand how badly the old system had failed. For years, for decades, the EU operated on a policy of managed chaos when it came to illegal migration primarily from Northern Africa and the Middle East. So when a migrant arrived illegally and then received a deportation order, almost all of them refused to comply, and that's because almost nothing happened to any of them. The European Migration Commissioner Magnus Brunner himself admitted the staggering scale of the continent-wide failure. Only about 1 out of 5 migrants, get that, only about 1 out of 5 who were told to leave the EU actually left. 80% of deportation orders go unheeded. Over the last decade, 4 out of every 5 illegal migrants ordered deported simply stayed. They stayed because the legal system was stacked in their favor. They stayed because a labyrinth of appeals, delays, and protections made actual deportation nearly impossible. They stayed because Brussels had spent 30 years building an architecture of bureaucratic paralysis designed, it was intentional. I'm not going to get them off the hook here. Designed deliberately to make enforcement functionally impossible. As a result, the Muslim population in Europe skyrocketed. It's exploded over the last 20 years, growing by an astonishing 50% between 2005 and 2025. And European citizens, the ones watching their cities transform, their neighborhoods change, their daughters afraid to walk home at night, they were told this was compassion. They were told this was progress. They were told that wanting your laws enforced made you a bigot. That failed globalist experiment, as of just days ago, has officially come to an end.